Many years ago, before I was a band director here in Platteville, I was a band director in a faraway place called Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. 5 O's. 5 O's. And I got to work with a great guy named Mike Crofta. He and I worked at the high school together. Amazing band director, a great guy. But he would like act out some of the pep band tunes because he didn't know they could hear him during like the heat of a basketball game or whatever. He didn't know they could hear him, so he had these really funny, and he was a very energetic guy, and he was about this tall. And so he would say something. Some of them were like, he would do "Eye of the Tiger," and he'd do stuff like that. And the kids loved it, of course, and he did it with such intensity. But his one for this was "Land of 1,000 Dances." So we're gonna do "Land of 1,000 Dances," and our color guard sits in the stands and we're doing these pep tunes, and some of these they have developed their own choreography for, so I'd like them to show that off. Now come on up, color guard. They're going to do some choreography to "Land of 1,000 Dances." I can tell, and this is happening more and more to me these days, that when I reference the Journey half shirt, that several of you may be younger than me and didn't know what I was talking about. I catch on to these things, it takes me some time. So some of you, though, might be just a little bit younger and might have yourself Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction black cutoff shirt. Yeah, remember those? So next tune we're going to do is from that album, from that band. This is Sweet Child of Mine. sensed a little bit, like a few of you, when I talk about songs of my youth, are looking at me like, come on, kid, you're talking about yourself like you're old, you're just a kid. So the next song we're going to do might connect more with you, and if you know the dance, you are welcome to stand up and do it along with our color guard. But the next one is from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is Time Warp. Some of you are doing that dance. Very good, very good. So our drum line, our percussion section in general does a lot during games and during parades, and they have kind of extra duty. In fact, the color guard and the drum line move into our preseason camp a day earlier than everybody else because there's just a lot more stuff we have to teach them. And so you've heard a couple of the cadences that the drum line do, and they do some playing, just things that they've created on their own for stoppages at various points during football games. But there's one cadence that I think they and the band maybe love more than anything else that they do. And that has something that has become known in our little circle. I don't think anybody else, anywhere else, calls it this. It's called Milk Bowl. So I know that it's just the absurdity sometimes of the traditions that are created seem to me so weird, but then I just watched a video of the Ohio State marching band doing their pregame, like when they come out before the game, and they're shouting out all kinds of weird stuff. So I think we're all in the marching band world a little bit weird. Milk Bowl, as I understand it, and you may have seen at games, our percussion section, they have these little shot glasses, and I promise it's alcohol-free, but they, every game, have a different flavor or kind of milk that they drink. And I mean, I've seen over the years, I've seen them do shots of buttermilk. Can you imagine? I've seen them do shots of things called lemon milk, which of course they didn't realize were gonna make the dairy curdle, so they got a little more texture than they were perhaps planning on that day. But, but Milk Bowl was kind of born, I don't want to necessarily know all about their social lives, but I did happen to see one video several years ago where apparently there was a party at what was the drum house at the time, and they filled a kiddie pool with milk. I don't know how many gallons that takes. And there were, how many gallons does that take? 6 or so. Okay, thanks. There were, and they're young, but there were, you know, these are adults, young adult men in those little flippy things, and they were taking turns diving into the kiddie pool of milk. I mean, I can barely remember what I did at college parties, but I am certain that was not among the activities. So, and forevermore, this cadence is known as Milk Bowl. So if you're wondering what they're shouting on the parade route when they shout that out, they're yelling Milk Bowl, and most of them probably don't even know why. Because I kind of don't know why. So here's Milk Bowl. All right. By the way, this is a fairly recent development. The chanting of my name, it's getting a little creepy. Just so we're clear. It's probably past creepy, actually. Love you too. So our second field show was entitled This Is Us, and it was kind of about all the different things in the day in the life of Marching Pioneer. One is that we have so many different folks here with so many different backgrounds and all kinds of different interests, and so this is me. If you've seen The Greatest Showman, this song is really about that. It's about embracing that diversity that makes us interesting. And so even though we're all working together, and I have them all dressed the same, and I told them all they're supposed to brush their hair this morning, some of them did, that I recognize and embrace the fact that there's tons of different types of wonderful young people behind me. And so this song, I think, really is a great way for us to kick off the This Is Us production that is our second field show. So coming back out, Color Guard. It's going to feature some of our Color Guard members, including one, The Greatest Showman, Jamie Wodak. that song also featured Liz Dick on mellophone, who is not only we have kind of these generational marching pioneers. I don't think I've taught any of your parents in this ensemble yet, have I? That's when I know it will be time to leave. But her older brother, who is also a mellophone soloist, but yeah, we have a second generation pioneer-ish younger sibling. Younger sibling mellow soloist, what a coincidence. All right, we're bringing the dance team back out. One of the things I thought if we were describing our day in the life of a marching pioneer is that we get to collaborate with different groups. Of course, we collaborate with our athletic department and our football team in particular here, but we also get to collaborate on a regular with the Pioneer Dance Team. It's just a great part of this life on this campus. So this song, Happy Together, an old song by the Turtles, celebrates that relationship. Things that I think is true about college students in general is that they tend to have a sense of invulnerability at times that is maybe illogical, that they believe that they are invincible. I know I did. I mean, pretty much throughout my undergraduate experience at least. Remember, maybe even the night before my undergraduate, before my commencement ceremony at UW Milwaukee, I remember that I probably felt a little invincible because I remember on the drive from Madison to Milwaukee, my then girlfriend, now wife, was kind enough to keep pulling the car over for me because, and I don't know why I thought this was the solution, but I remember I had some 7-layer burritos from Taco Bell. And I thought if I could just get some food in my system, I'd feel a little bit better about the invincible acts I had committed the evening before. And so I would take a bite out of the 7-layer burrito and I go, pull over. And then I'd say, no, I'm okay, we can go. And then I'd take another bite, about 20 minutes, pull over. So those are some great photos, by the way. Invincible definitely captures, and I've worn just even on Halloween night, because we of course had a game day yesterday and Halloween fell on a Friday this year. I remember saying to them as they left rehearsal multiple times, have a good time, but don't have a great time tonight. And I don't know if they did or didn't do that, but they certainly, as they always do, showed up yesterday and performed very well. So we're going to do Invincible, which will also feature some of our color guard members on the rifle. So here's Invincible by Cirque du Soleil. So, probably to a fault, I try to be proactive about programming. Like I've already sent them the stuff that we're going to be doing for next year's field show 1 and field show 2, the concepts. I don't know, I'd like to think about it while I'm in the midst of doing it. For some reason it helped me. But I remember this last tune you're going to hear from our field show number 2, the This Is Us show, is entitled Scream. And it was kind of about, you know, the anxiety, that all the things, the pressures sometimes that are a part of being in college, whether it's exams or whatever it is, crazy marching band directors yelling, "Do that again." But the Scream, I heard this tune, I'd never heard it before, and it's by a guy who wrote a lot of really good music, arranged a lot of music, and was the founder and the owner of a Rangers publishing company, which they wrote a lot of really cool things, especially this guy Jay Dawson and Tom Wallace. Jay actually passed away this last year, and so it just kind of worked out as a tribute. But as soon as I heard it, I'd never heard it before. I was like, we got to do this song, and so it helped me kind of weave together this whole concept of this show, and I thought it'd be a great tune to close with. So don't be startled at the beginning of a song called Scream if you hear some of that coming from the band. All right? Here we go. Here's Scream by Jay Dawson. Times our dance team gets to do like costume changes. So because I can't read with my glasses on, this is my big costume change. I take my glasses off for this portion. Anyway, I want to make sure that I thank, there's a lot of people that really make this all possible. I'd love to claim all the responsibility for all of it, but I absolutely cannot do that. The first group of people I want to make sure that I spend time thanking are the staff. So we have, it's a small staff, but it's a very committed and a very talented group of people that support what we do here. And I want to make special note of my partner in crime over there, Chloe Norpel. I know you hate it, but I'm going to make you stand. So, Chloe's official title is color guard designer and instructor. However, as I'm sure my friend Andrew here could tell you, she's constantly bringing home uniforms that have like hot chocolate spilled on them or have a hole ripped in them, or like there are these people, we were talking about this a little bit before, there are people who do the job beyond expectation and then continue to seek other opportunities to help others, and Chloe just can't help herself. She's one of those people. So she's constantly doing stuff way above and beyond. And so it's incredibly beneficial to me in all the responsibilities, because she often just catches me about to do the exact wrong thing. There was an old cartoon called Mr. Magoo, and I feel more and more like Mr. Magoo every day, where he's about to like step off the ledge of a skyscraper, and then somebody comes along and saves him. That's kind of, she does that on the regular here. And our drumline instructor and our percussion professor here, Peter Naughton, our drill writer, Brian Collicott. I bring in the first weekend that we're going to launch the first show. Teaching all that drill is pretty tough, especially when we haven't gone through the process yet with all the freshmen. And so my wife, Tanya, who's forced to participate through obligation, marital obligation, and my friend Mindy, who still does it for some reason. I'm not sure why she still does it. They come in that first weekend, but the staff has been unbelievable. And of course, when you hear the script that I've written for the football games being announced, that's announced generally by a student. And this year, the voice of the Marching Pioneers is Max Conop. So thank you, Max. I don't know if you're here or not, but let's give all of those people a round of applause, please. We also have to, because this is an albatross, a scheduling albatross, right? So we've got an athletic department that needs to find a time when we can do the last blast here, when we can use the track field, which we share with our track and field team. Pretty much every time we rehearse, there are people running laps around us, which makes me say, hey, see, they're working really hard, so don't complain about being tired. But our athletic department, our music department, also this number of people here who make music, including some of the people in the dance team, are in ensembles here at the university. So all of our schedules kind of have to circle around this giant beast known as the Marching Pioneers. And so I want to thank the people from the athletic department and the music department, and of course the administration of the school here, for allowing this to work, because a lot of things need to kind of take a back seat during marching band season, because otherwise we can't schedule things with 170 to 200 people in them. So thank you to all of those administrators in those areas, and to Brittany Lindekrantz is our she's our, I think the title is administrative assistant or something in the music department, in the performing and visual arts department. But everybody who's ever worked in a school, or maybe in your office, wherever you work, there's always that one person who kind of just makes stuff work, kind of like Chloe does with us. Brittany is that person for PVA. I want to make sure I give a shout out to her. And then finally, especially when we have to do, because of, there are things you shouldn't schedule over in the state of Wisconsin. They say, try as best you can. Of course, we're doing this on a Sunday morning. We do our best. Try never to schedule against the church, and try never to schedule, ever to schedule against the Green Bay Packers. Well, we may have satisfied one of those two things this morning here on a Sunday morning, but when we do have a 10 a.m. Sunday performance, what it means is that Chloe and I get here at like 6 a.m. to set all this stuff up, and there's always a group of very dedicated custodians who are here working with us, and anybody who's ever worked in a school understands how undervalued those folks are and the work they do and how essential it is. So can we give a round of applause to them, please? That many of you won't, but in your programs, there are the lyrics to the alma mater. We're going to play that now. Feel free to sing along. You get a little bit of an introduction, and then you can open up those pipes and sing. For those of you who couldn't go to church this morning, this is your chance. This is your hymnal. Marching Pioneers, this is the alma mater. bid you all adieu. Hopefully we'll see you all bundled up next Saturday for our final home football game of the year against UW Stout. If you know anything about the WIAC's football conference this year, it's just a bunch of nationally ranked teams beating the crap out of each other every week. I have no idea how it's all going to shake out, but it's been a lot of fun to watch, and our team's done a great job. So, I would be remiss if I didn't give special recognition, of course, to all of the performers you see behind you here. By the way, I think I put this out on Facebook, but if any of you are in town and looking for some place to have a little late lunch, and maybe you can watch the Packer game, I think it'll be shown there, right? St. Augustine's is a church just a block off of campus in some direction, maybe that direction, am I pointing the right way? But St. Augustine's is where there will be a spaghetti luncheon today from 2 to 4 to raise money for music scholarships, which I'm a huge fan of course. So feel free to come on out there. What is it, how much? How much for all you can eat spaghetti? How much does a brother have to pay to get as much spaghetti? $7 for me. Is that the senior discount? $7 for me, and then $5 for students. All right, and you get $1 off of either one if you're wearing either a Packers or a Carolina Panthers, like paraphernalia. I think they should add $1 for that one. But anyway, but I want to make recognition or give recognition to some people who deserve to hear a little bit extra dap today. Anybody who's been in either the dance team or the marching pioneers, for those who are already standing, just wave, for 4 or more years. Please stand or wave at the audience now. That's way more hanging out with me than anybody should have to do. Now, if you are a captain or a section leader, please wave or stand this season, and please drum majors. Among our section leaders, there is somebody who has to spend way too much time with me, and that is our equipment manager. We have a new equipment manager this year. This is the person who we go and get the U-Haul truck together. When we do trips, we're constantly doing. I even give him my credit card, which I trust him with. It's amazing. But yeah, and it's a lot of extra work for a little bit of pay. Anybody who's worked student employment knows there's very little bit of pay, but a lot of work, and we couldn't do what we do without him. Let's give a special round of applause to Andrew Guzik back there. And this final one makes me sad, but would anybody who is not going to be back with us next year stand or wave and be recognized for your time here at the Marching Pioneers and or Dance Team? I don't even see anybody there in any of my classes that I can just flunk and make them have to come back. So anyway, so we're going to do the pep tune. I want to thank you all for being here. For the support is just extraordinary. I was saying, now the band was a little bit smaller back then, but when I first got here in the fall of 2004, this concert was not nearly this well attended, and it definitely wouldn't have been at 10 a.m. on a Sunday. But so thank you all for your support, whether it's here, whether it's online, whether it's in the stadium, whether we're marching down Main Street. And some of you were showing up in Galena, and you're showing up, in Lambeau last year. Thank you all so much. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to these students, and it's just great to see this thriving little community we've developed here. So, school song one more time for you all. Thanks a lot. You don't get to be a marching band director, collegiate marching band director, unless you're at least mildly anal retentive. Some people here would tell you I'm extraordinarily anal retentive. So when you know they're going to play a trick on you and something is going to just blow up every year, it's a little anxiety prone for me. But good trick. They wait for it. If you've been to the games, you know what that is. So, okay, we're going to do it for real this time, I hope. Here we go.